With his new film Fury #1 at the box office right now, director David Ayer sat down with Empire Online to give a few thoughts on his upcoming DC supervillain film, Suicide Squad. Ayer said the following: "Fury whetted my appetite for a bigger canvas and this idea of world creation. You can do amazing things as a filmmaker if you have the proper tools, and those are time and money. I can say that it's a dirty dozen with supervillains." Then I asked the question, does a movie really need good guys? Amy Rose, do Ayer's comments excite you?
Oh, hell yes, they do. That is very exciting. Dirty Dozen with supervillains. I love this. I really liked Fury. I thought it was a very predictable story, but I loved his direction, and I think he's just a really solid director, especially to tackle this. Coming from End of Watch, I've really enjoyed watching his evolution, and I think this is a really just exciting property to start after Batman v Superman, and you have to have Harley Quinn in there. I mean, I know we keep hearing back and forth, but I do think Margot Robbie would be a perfect for that, and I've loved everything I've been hearing about this. Will Smith, all the names that have been tossed, I think they have a really clear idea of this, and I think Ayer is like a very inspired director to bring this to life, especially after seeing Fury, because, you know, it was a war movie, but the character moments between those guys are really what made it real. Before, you know, in between the fighting and action, it was real, and I think that he's gonna bring a really cool dimension to this supervillain troupe. I cannot wait to see on the big screen.
Seeing what he did with the characters in Fury is what really makes my imagination pop to life thinking about what you could do with Suicide Squad. Because when you see how distinct all these guys were, who were all suffering from some kind of war fatigue at the same time, yet they were all so distinct, and the camaraderie, yet angst between them all. I was watching that film thinking, you do this in a Suicide Squad, that's gonna work. The one thing, however, that he says in this comment that I'm not buying is this whole thing is like, hey, you don't need good guys in a superhero movie. You know what? We've been promised that bill of goods from various very good movies for a long time, but it's always the same thing. They say this is a movie about the bad guy, whether you know it's Despicable Me, or whether it's Maleficent, or whether it's something else. They say, oh, this is a movie about the villain, except that they end up being the good guy by the end. Right. I will be shocked, pleasantly shocked, if they actually get through Suicide Squad and they are all villains, and by the end of the film, villains. But there's going to be heroic redemptions, and there's going to be all that kind of stuff. I hope I'm wrong, but for now, I'm not buying those comments. Anyway.
I'm okay if it's like a heroic redemption-ish, like kind of Usual Suspect style. Those aren't really good guys, you know. And
it's true.
And to watch a movie, and granted, it's not a comic book film, but to watch a movie like that, to watch them go down that path, and you know, see that they're kind of all have to work together. This Dirty Dozen analogy was great. I'm curious, and like you, John, I hope that they end it with, I don't mind them if they have to do a couple good things in order to get the job done. Right. But I don't want their personalities and characters to show that, like, because like you mentioned with Maleficent and those other movies, they changed the character.
The untold story.
Yeah, because the characters become different, and their overall arc and what makes them who they are were also now good guys. I don't mind if they do good things. I just want them to be bad guys.
Yeah, and let me clarify, I'm glad you said that. It's not that I'll have a problem with it if these are redeemable characters that, you know, that go out and they do some selfless things. I don't mind that. Right. Just don't tell me going into it, this is the story about the bad guys, when they're really all not all
Guardians
that bad.
were outlaws. They weren't villains, but they were outlaws and not good.
Guys.
And these are bad. Yeah. So, I mean, but that worked as well, because they did some bad things, but obviously had those redeeming moments. And this would be taking it a step even further. And I think we're hungry for it. I mean, from the villain's perspective is really intriguing to me. And I mean, this troop, yeah, you're right. Redeeming moments is okay, because even really bad guys can have those moments, but I want to see it go bad.
It's a risk. And listen, this is a big risk if they do that, because we don't have normally, it would change storytelling in a lot of ways too, because eventually if this works and it is just villains, then more villain stories can be told, because they're talking about Sinister Six and all that stuff, and I eventually want to see a Darth Bane movie to see that happen, so all that stuff would be very exciting.
The villain's the best part of the story usually, so I want it.
But just to highlight, I think after seeing, if you haven't seen Fury and you're a DC Comics fan and you're looking forward to Suicide Squad, go see Fury, take in the atmosphere and the character development and the narrative path that Ayer does, and tell me you didn't get double excited for Suicide Squad.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.